Hi everyone, I'm Anna Finch from Finch Press and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be doing about 3 to 4 writing sprints today. With my phone. Welcome to my viewer. Yes, I'll be doing about 3 to 4 writing sprints, maybe more, depending on how I'm feeling. Welcome, Devon. Yeah, I didn't do writing sprints for the past 2 weeks because, well, one of the weeks was because of reaction to the vaccine, and I wasn't feeling well, and the other one was, well, I have been swamped with paperwork, preparing for exams, deadlines to make sure all the students pass, that are seniors. It's been a pain. So I'm looking forward to writing something for my story, because pretty much all my words for NaNoWriMo so far have been from my paperwork. So I want to focus on the story. And yeah. Okay. Anyway, how have you been, Devon? All right. Daylight saving time ends in the US and Canada this weekend. All right. Does the time go back an hour or go forward an hour for you? Because I'm not sure how it works. Okay. What would be the start time next week? Clocks go back an hour. All right. All right. So it would be what, 10 o'clock your time, or? Oh, it's 9 right now. Okay, so it'd be 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock your time, roughly? It's a bit better though, the time. It used to be what, when it wasn't daylight saving time, it used to be, or at least here in Melbourne, it used to be what, 10, 11 p.m. That's all right. I may end up doing more writing sprints, or probably doing another writing sprint session in the middle of the week. Maybe. It depends on how I feel. If I do it, it would have to be Friday, because I finish early on a Friday. But yeah. It was 10 until the clock, Australians changed the clocks off month. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Are you participating in NaNoWriMo this year? Yeah, that's all right. Like, uh, yeah, I'm doing it because it's pretty much the only time, other than weekends or Sundays. It's the only way I can get myself to concentrate and write um, for a longer period of time. It sucks though that this year it's at least in they've not allowed any in-person events. Like the in-person events actually help because I physically have to go someplace. Because I physically have to go someplace and meet other people who are also doing NaNoWriMo and writing, it kind of keeps me accountable and it actually forces me to ensure that I've got everything up to date. Whereas the online events are a bit harder for that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the reason why. I think it's also because not a lot of people are vaccinated. At the very least, as far as I know, in the US, they're not vaccinated. A lot of people there aren't vaccinated. Like we've got about, I think we've hit 85% fully vaxxed, which is in Victoria, which is the only reason why he's opened up the state. Yeah. Yeah. The in-person events are the things I miss the most because with the in-person events, because like Melbourne's got public holidays at the very start of NaNoWriMo, they've got events on that day where people actually hang out for the whole day to do writing. And like the first year I did the NaNoWriMo for Melbourne Cup Day, it was like we spent about 5 hours or more just straight up writing, which was fun. Cool. Yeah, they're thinking that we may need a third shot, a booster shot. That sucks. Yeah. Already started Christmas stuff here. Yeah, they've started to stock the shelves with some Christmas stuff here too. Like literally, I walked into Costco's near my work the other day, and literally first thing I saw and heard was a bunch of Christmas music and like giant statues of Santas and all that sort of stuff. That was the first thing I saw when I walked in. Like, it's like they should be waiting to the end of November. like, why put it all now? I think the only reason why they didn't start the Christmas stuff earlier here is because we were in lockdown. And no one was going to see it or no one was going to buy it. Anyway, welcome to the new viewer. Hey, glad you could join us. All right. Yeah. You like having 2 months of Christmas stuff? It can be a good thing because you can get what you need a little bit earlier and avoid the rush as well. But sometimes the extra months of like Christmas stuff can annoy me because like sometimes like some of the places here in Melbourne would put the Christmas stuff and like all the Christmas music and jingles on in the shopping center. They would do it October, sometimes even a little bit earlier, which is annoying. November and kind of get away with it because it's literally just a month before it. But some places would put stuff up October and you'd have the Christmas music, if you hear it for 3 months straight, can be annoying, which, yeah. All right. Would you like to do 15-minute writing sprint? 10 months of normal stuff. Yeah. That's kind of true. Sometimes, like, when they first put the Christmas stuff up, it's like, oh, that looks cool. But once there's been a number of months of it, I get sick of it. But yeah, it should be interesting. Hello. Welcome. All right. 15 is fine. Would you be all right with doing a 15-minute writing sprint? Oh, welcome to the new viewer. Hey. All right. All right, we'll do 15 minutes then. All right. Okay, we'll do 15 minutes. See how we go. I may end up doing extra writing sprints. Depends on how I'm feeling, but working on your urban fantasy novel. Ah, cool. Yeah, I have to catch up for Nano too. Pretty much all my words so far for NaNoWriMo have literally just been from my paperwork, and not my story, which is not ideal. Yeah. Well, I hope you're able to catch up on the words you need, and good luck. All right, let's get started. Okay. Oops. How did you guys go? I didn't write anything, but I did go through the previous chapters of my novel and to make sure I know where I'm up to, so I can continue on from that, because I haven't written for my novel in a long time. Yeah, it actually does sound like the bell at school. It's the only thing that will grab my attention. Kind of procrastinated a little, but managed to finish the chapter. That's awesome! Well done! I'm glad you're able to get that done. Alright. Cool. Alright. Yeah, so my novel is based, or what I'm writing is basically a sequel to my first book. Haven't written for it in a while. Most of the stuff I've been writing has either been my paperwork or a bunch of short stories. You typed up part of an outline? It's cool. Hey, Courtney. Welcome. Hey, you got something done. 150 words is a start, and it's pretty good. Yeah, I try and do writing sprints roughly around this time each week. So if you need for NaNoWriMo or later to catch up on your writing, more than welcome to join us. Yeah, progress is progress. As long as you use your time productively, even if it's just reading over stuff or doing notes and stuff for your story, it's good. It's all good. Maybe I'll be able to pop in again. Yeah, well, if you do, you're more than welcome. Yeah, so I try to do these sprints for at least an hour each week. So it's Sunday 12:30 currently, in the afternoon where I am. Yeah, something's better than nothing. I've been telling that to my year 11, my senior students. That something is better than nothing, like for the past few days, because they did their final assessment for law, for legal studies, and because some of them will leave big chunks of space blank, despite the fact I know they know the answers. So, all right. Well, anyway, so the story I'm working on, sequel. It's an urban fantasy story. I'm not sure whether or not it will be classified as YA or adult. I've got one character who looks like she's in her 20s, but is thousands of years old, but she has the mentality of a 20-year-old. No, she's like physically about 18 to 20, but the mentality is like roughly around that age, despite her being thousands of years old. And then the second POV is the guy is technically older than the way he looks, but that's because there was a spell involved, and technically he didn't live out those other years. So, don't know what category it will fall into. Oh my god. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, so it's kind of a twisted version of Beauty and the Beast. So it's going to be interesting. It's interesting. The main female character has a lot of anger issues. Like, I think I put a line in there that, like, there was like a fun text message between two characters, and she's like, sends a picture, and it's like, I'm I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, but I can handle it. um is it a retelling? Not exactly. So there's like elements from Beauty and the Beast, like a curse, a rose, or it's probably going to be a lily. Um, there's like the secrets between the two characters, but the actual overall plot is very different to Beauty and the Beast because the characters themselves both have their own secrets, and like it just revealing the secret is just either one is going to lead to a massive explosion, um like a massive argument, and it's more, there's like the most of the elements are from the actual original Beauty and the Beast. um so like in the original Beauty and the Beast can't actually, I think he can't actually say uh that he's cursed, and he can't tell. I think he asked her, the original Beauty and the Beast, like to marry, for Belle to marry him, but he can't actually tell her why. He can't tell her about the curse. So there's that element in the story which is going to fuel a lot of drama and a lot of conflict. So yeah. Yeah, it's fun to write. Like, the first novel was a retelling of The Little Mermaid with a couple of twists in there. Um, so this one's got elements from Beauty and the Beast, but it's not a strict retelling. So some of the key elements, like the curse, the two people there, a guy who's can be referred to as a beast, with is one of the main characters. The secrets and all that stuff is from Beauty and the Beast, but most of it's just an original story, and it's like there's a lot of trauma on both ends that they have to deal with. They also bring them into conflict, so it'll be fun and it'll be interesting. Yeah, well, I was actually supposed to finish writing the story. I was supposed to finish writing the first draft last year, at the end of last year, end of last year, start of this year, and actually do um the other drafts, and the editing, and I was actually supposed to publish around this time this year, but um yeah, it didn't work out that way. I'm still working on my first draft. So hopefully I can get this first draft done by the end of NaNoWriMo, or not that long after, because the editing doesn't take me as long. So going through the different other like the other different stages for the writing doesn't take me that long. Especially when hiring it will probably take me about maybe 3-4 months after the first draft is finished, 5 months max, to get all the editing done and to have it ready for publishing. And I can do things like cover design, formatting, and everything. Well, I'm glad. I love Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I am, at least. I love the old fairy tale that they put on Disney. Little Mermaid, hands down, my favorite. But Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, I absolutely adore. Um, I have never actually watched Snow White before, or Sleeping Beauty. Uh, so yeah, so they're the only original ones I haven't watched. Are you self or trad published? I am self published. Um, yeah, as there's not many opportunities for traditional publishing in Australia, or at least not that I know of. That, and I like having control over when I publish, and having and retaining full creative control over my story. Uh, I wouldn't mind doing traditional publishing later on, but um, for this series, I would like to go self-publish. I'm doing self-publishing for this series at the very least. Yeah, Disney is awesome. Uh, First book you wrote was a Peter Pan retelling. Oh, that's cool. Peter Pan's a really good story. Um, yeah, it's a really good story. It's interesting. I don't know if you've read the original fairy tale or the original Peter Pan, but it's so dark and it's like really awesome. Thank you. First movie I saw in a theater was Lady and the Tramp. I love that movie. Lady and the Tramp is awesome. Oh my god, I love all the Disney movies. They're no, maybe not all of them, but the cartoons I adore. I actually watched Hercules for the first time last year because my students were looking at or learning about Greek history. Uh, and it was like just for something fun at the end of the term. I'm like, all right, let's watch Hercules. They loved it. Like when we did ancient China's history, we watched Mulan. Um, so I got the kids to pick whether or not it was a live action or the cartoon. Surprisingly, they picked the live action. But nah, I love the Disney movies. I love the cartoons and those stories. Yeah. um, I don't think I ever saw at least the Disney cartoons in the cinemas. I'm pretty sure I only ever saw them on VHS and later on DVD. Um, there's one. There's another story. I don't know if you guys have watched Hunchback of Notre Dame. Love that movie. I love that cartoon. The first one, at least. Um, Hunchback of Notre Dame is amazing. I've tried to read the book for Hunchback of Notre Dame. It bored me to tears, but no, the movie is awesome. Last movie you saw in theater was a Disney film too. I'll say like Disney may have a monopoly on a lot of films, but the good thing about them is that they actually the films they make, generally speaking, are good. They will range either from amazing to at least decent and watchable. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, Hercules. Hercules is good. I watched it. I was like, oh my god. I mean, it's not accurate when it comes to Greek culture or Greek mythology, but I'm like, it's really good. Uh, I watched it again when I got home after showing it to the kids. Um, yeah, it's really good. All right. Okay. Um, would you like to do another 15 minutes for the writing sprint? Sorry, I'm just connecting my laptop. All right. How long would you like to do for the writing sprint? 15 works. Sounds good. All right, cool. We'll do 15. All right, I'll share my screen. Okay. Well, hopefully I can get some words in. Yeah. All right. Let's start now. Okay, I'll just mute myself. Just give me a moment. I'm just finishing this last conversation in the chapter. All right, so I actually got some words in. How many words did I get? Let's see how many words I got. I got 153 words, which is cool. It's more than I've written in a while. So yeah, and that means this one chapter is nearly 6,000 words. Back, cool. Got some food, typed up some more of the outline. Cool. Got some more words in, realized I strayed from my outline completely. Yeah. I stray sometimes too. It's okay, outlines can be changed. Same. Yeah, so I can tell you for a fact my first novel, like my first novel pretty much completely diverted from the outline, and it got to the point where I'm like, I basically just dropped the outline and just kept on writing, going with the flow of the story and just doing what I thought sounded cool and interesting. The final result was completely different from my outline. Yeah, so it was completely different from the outline. Like, some of the key points were the same, but pretty much most of it was different from the outline. This is heading that way. This novel's heading that way too. So I'm just like, I'll write whatever it is I'm into in that particular point in the story. If it's in my outline, awesome. If it's not, hey, I got something done. But yeah, so outlines are just meant to be a guideline, so you have a rough idea of where the story goes. So your story diverting from it or changing from it, it's normal. It happens. Yep. All right. I've got to copy and paste the stuff that I typed into a Google Doc as like a backup. This is because I'm using a new program. I'm pretty sure it's just came out of the beta stage. So I'm basically using a new program called Atticus. It's basically generally speaking formatting. Basically a formatting type of program, but it can also be used for writing. So I'm just having a go and testing it out. Just fixing. Just fixing the formatting. So far, I'm liking the program. I'll probably do a review for it at some point. There it is. That's fixed. Yeah. Well, it's good you like what you wrote. You don't just I just would make sure you don't focus everything into rewriting or re-outlining. Getting a few points done helps for the outline, but you don't need to completely revamp the outline. There may still be stuff there that you can use. All right. Okay. Where is this? All right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's do. I'm going to do one last sprint actually, because I need to go get some lunch. And yeah, so we can do a 10. We'll do a 10-minute writing sprint. Yeah. Do a 10-minute writing sprint. And I'll see if I can do another writing sprint. Trying to think of the day. I'll try and see if I can do another writing sprint Friday coming up. This is Australian time would be about. Actually, I'm gonna check. I'll try and see if I can find it. Oh. If I do a writing sprint on the Friday, it would have to be probably 11 p.m. my time. Because that's about 11, yeah, because that's about 7 a.m. your time. Yeah, it would be Thursday in North America. Yeah. I might. This is a big maybe. I might be able to do it at 3 p.m. my time on a Friday because I do finish early on a Friday, which would be about 11 p.m. your time in the US. which is still, it's late, but it's still a reasonable time. Um, really depends on how I feel. But yeah, I'll try and do one on Friday, maybe two, depending on how, maybe two on Friday. Really depends on how I feel. But definitely Sunday at 12 p.m. my time would work. Yeah. Yep. So um yeah, so I would at least try to do one live writing sprint on the Friday. This is Australian time, so either it would be uh 3 p.m. my time, which is about 11 p.m. US time, or it would be um or it would be 11 p.m. my time, which is about 7 a.m. your time. All right. So I'll try and do that. It's NaNoWriMo. We all need like I'm participating in it and I need to catch up on my words. Um, yeah. Oh, cool. All right. So let's do 10 minutes and see how we go. I should hopefully get this chapter done by the end of that 10 minutes. All right, let's start. I have just finished the chapter. I'm just excited. It took me a long time to get that done, but I'm happy I finished the chapter. Oh my god. This chapter is now basically 6,000 words. Just editing the formatting. So I'm just going to fix this up. Just editing this. Yeah, I'm happy. I've finished that chapter. I hear a puppy. Well, if you hear any puppies in the background, that would be my dog. I've got 2 dogs. One of them's about 7 years old. The other one's about nearly 2. The girl's still a puppy. Yeah, yeah, 6,000 words. Oh my god, it is a really long chapter. Funnily enough, though, it's not the longest chapter I've written. I've written a longer chapter. Really, Crowley? Yeah, so I've actually written longer chapters. But a big chunk of this chapter is basically dialogue between 2 sisters who have literally just decided to, who are both going through they're both going through therapy, and have finally just decided to talk about the big issue that's between them. So, yay for progress. um, how many words did I get that time round? So I got 113 words. Cool. That's good. So in total for today, I've got 266 words. I've got to write another 2,000 today. But yeah, I've got something done. I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah. Most of my chapters are between 1,500 and 3,000 words. Most of them. Then there's a couple that go above that, um, but I do scene breaks in, because it's all technically, even though there's a scene break, that's basically just like a small gap in what's happening. So I think there was a scene in there was a chapter in my first book. It was towards the end. It's one of the last few chapters. I think it's about between 6,000 and 8,000 words. Because um there's like because of what's happening in the story, they've got to deal with the problem, and well, it's just before the major event in the story. Yeah, so that one was really long, but it was where I got that chapter though. It was probably the most fun to write, that long chapter that was in my novel. Mainly because I got to show a darker side to my character. Like, she was actually really willing to do whatever it took to get what she wanted. So the darker side of the characters was, like, really interesting and fun to write. And, like, the consequences of some of the stuff she did in there, I'm like, "Ooh, so cool." Yeah. Yeah, for that chap scene in my debut novel, yeah, that length was needed in order to show in depth what is happening to the character and, like, the darker side of it, which was all fun. Um, it's this chapter as well, it does need to be that long because the chapter I'm writing for the second book, it's in the same series, but, needs to be that long because these 2 characters have had so far these 2 sisters have had fairly little interaction in the book. Um, they've had interaction, but it's not been as in depth. Um, and this one, and they've had their own issues, which is why they may not have had, why they haven't interacted as much. And this is basically just them hashing it out and going, "Look, we both got our problems. We need to deal with it. Let's just talk it out." So it's needed. But it's pretty much like not like 80% of it's dialogue. Um, 80 yeah, about 80% of that 6,000 words is dialogue, which is a lot of dialogue. Yeah, yeah. Well, if you wanna check it out, my novel's currently on sale for, like, 99 cents US and Canada. Um, yeah, so if you wanted to check it out, yeah, it's currently on sale, and it's on sale pretty much every single platform as well. But yeah. I like writing the darker stuff and going into, like, showing the darker side of the characters. It's always so much fun because you have this character that's, like, a hero type and who's might be considered could be is considered, like, a good person and all that sort of stuff, but, um, when you, like I like showing, like, the darker stuff, the flaws, uh, the their dark side, like, this character, she's good, she's a good person, she cares even when she's not supposed to, um, but she has a temper, and she has, like, a really dark side, it's a Little Mermaid retelling, it's, interesting. Like, it diverts from the original Little Mermaid story, like, within, like, the first 6 or so chapters, um, but it's I loved writing it. Yeah, well, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, being the villain is more fun. It's like writing the dark side, writing the villains, it's more fun because you can get a lot more nuance in that. You can explore it deeper, um, like you can look at what made them the villain. And she, at that end of the story, that long chapter, she's like on the edge. She's like on the edge of she's like on the edge of potentially becoming a villain, which will be fun to explore. So that the other novels in the series are all leading up to the final. They are going to lead up to the final novel, which is like the bit where she's like really got to confront her dark side. Because the middle novels are mainly about her sisters and like the long game that's happening with like all the gods and mythology. Um, and they all those the stories of all her sisters basically help develop the main character as well. So it's gonna be fun. I want to see her I want to see her become a villain, or at least step close to the edge of being one, because she has a lot of potential. The character, she has a lot of potential in going to the dark side, because of all the stuff that's happened to her. All the characters, all the sisters have the potential to go dark side, especially the one that I'm currently writing for this novel. She definitely has that potential. All her anger issues and yeah. It's fun. I love it. I love writing dark characters. I actually planned to write a story with what was it? Either from more about Moriarty, so from the point of Moriarty, like either a short story or a novella where the main character is Moriarty and potentially Moriarty wins, or not Moriarty. I don't know if you guys have heard of Doctor Who or if you've watched it, but in Doctor Who, there's this character called the Master. He's a villain. He ranges between he or she in one of the one, because they change bodies. Sometimes it's man, sometimes female. He ranges from complete and utter lunatic to anti-hero to friend of the hero who really just wants to ruin the hero's day, to it's like, so he flip-flops. His origin story is actually really interesting. It's in the newer series, but it's really interesting, and you see what drove him to become the villain. I wanted to write a story, something similar to that, because it's really interesting when you see that the villain, who's a complete and utter psycho, he has a reason for being that way, and it's fun. I really love it. Yeah, so I've got a couple of stories that are in the works. There's like a whole bunch I haven't really written in. A dark King Arthur as well. King Arthur's the villain, not the hero. That one, I definitely want to write that once I finish the series for Voiceless. Yeah. It's fun. I love it. I love all the villains. If you guys know any books where the villain's the main character, let me know. More than happy to read it. Yeah. Anyway. Courtney, I've got the link for the book in the description. So it's like one of the first, there's like a summary or blurb for the book. And there's also the links for the book if you're interested in checking that out. But yeah, I love villains. Like, the more interesting villains that I've seen are the ones who are not completely evil. They're the ones who have got some good in them, who are capable of doing some good things, but mainly, if it like the villain in my first novel, the guy's a monster, but you learn why he became that monster in the story, and I tried to humanize him. Technically the character's not human, but you get the gist. Yeah, I definitely want to write that one. I've got the first 2 chapters because I wanted to do 2 main characters, so King Arthur and Morgan Le Fay, because in the mythology they're half siblings. And like the origin of King Arthur in the stories, like the old stories, is actually pretty dark. Like, depending on which version you read, it is really dark. And they always portray King Arthur as like this good guy. And I want to show him as like the complete opposite, like, because history is written by the victors. And so if you look at the mythology, Morgan Le Fay is generally presented as the villain and King Arthur the hero. And I just wanted to show the idea of history is written by the victors in that sort of story and just like twist it on its head. I've got that opening, like the origin for that, and it's really fun. I really love it. I'll probably work on that once I've got a few of the books in this series done. Yeah. All right. Well, that was it for this writing sprint. Yeah, but what's your like favorite like story or your favorite trope maybe? Like what's your favorite like concept? Because I like the villain stuff. I like either the hero becoming the villain or having um like the hero being on the edge of villainy and being capable of doing cruel and evil stuff. I love that sort of stuff. But yeah, what's your favorite uh trope or your favorite concept when it comes to stories? Yeah. Welcome, Justin. That's exactly my point in my upcoming urban fantasy novel. The winner writes the history. Yeah, it's the same. Like it's an interesting concept because a lot of the time, like if you were to look at the way history is written, like particularly the older history, um, they will present the people depending on uh, their beliefs. Like if you look at, well, because I teach history, among other subjects, if you look at the character, if you look at the person Wu Zetian from ancient China, she's presented as a villain and as a monster, but she's also, if you look at some of the stuff she's done, um, they presented her always as like really a dark sort of person, cruel, evil. But if you look at some of the actual stuff she's done, she actually improved China during her reign. And yeah, and like all the other stuff, like the way, like the winner writes the history, because the winner is the one that's in control of the story. They can present people in whatever way they like. A lot of the time, they'll present the people that they consider their enemies, well, other and target them. You don't think you can choose? I write a lot of fish out of water situations. Yeah. um, yeah. What's your urban fantasy novel called? Because I read a lot of urban fantasy and write it as well. My latest novel was a mystery based on real events about the enigmatic disappearance of young teenagers from a small town. Among them, a girl vanishes from a bus while it drives between two stops. Okay, that sounds cool. Oh my god, that sounds cool. I like mystery. I like mystery and I like crime and all that sort of stuff. It's fun. I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think I've tried to write a crime novel when I was a teenager when I wrote it. Didn't go so well. I didn't finish it. Um, the only crime, because I did a murder mystery and it was like it flipped between two time periods. So it flipped between the past. So if it flipped between past, present, and then future. So it was like it moved between time periods. Um, that one I finished. It was a short story. technically. I mean, it was 10,000 words, so technically it was a short story, which I did for my assessment in VCE or my senior year. But that's the only crime sort of stuff I've written. Haven't written much of urban fantasy yet, and so far it has no title. Well, I hope it all goes well, because the idea of the winner writing history is something I really like and I enjoy. So I'll look forward to it. All right. Okay. Thank you. You have a good night, Courtney. Yeah, I'll do hopefully a live writing sprint Friday my time, at either 3 p.m. or 11 p.m., which should be either 11 p.m. your time or 7 a.m. your time. And I do live writing sprints pretty much every Sunday, 12 p.m. Australian time, so just about 9-10 p.m. US Canadian time. And I'll look forward to seeing you again. Began writing sci-fi, cyberpunk 1986. I felt that reality caught up on these genres, and when they began attracting many new or poor writers, I turned to mystery. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the genres I write in have changed. Yeah, so the genres I write in have changed a lot. So I did originally a lot of historical fiction, crime, um, a lot of. I also wrote a lot of LGBT stories, uh, which were good. Whereas now I'm more urban fantasy and historical fantasy. Um, yep. I think I've saved. I think I've saved your channel on mine. I have to have a look. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I think I've saved your channel. If I have, it should be okay for you to go through it and find his channel. Um, I'll just show. Hold on, I've got to find, because I've subscribed to Devon's channel. That way, I've got access to. Uh, okay. I've got to show my thing. Yeah, so I'll put a link. Actually, I'll put a link to Devon's channel because he does have a lot of playlists for sprints on YouTube. That way, if you guys are interested in attending other sprints that are on today or tomorrow, so here's the list. Here's the link to Devon's channel. There you go. I've just posted the link for it too. Main protagonist in my latest novel is a Portuguese Orthodox Catholic lesbian policewoman. That sounds cool. I'd definitely read that. All right. I'm going to end the sprint here. I've got to go get some lunch. And I've still got paperwork I need to do, which sucks. Hopefully I can write some more later, but thank you all for joining me. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hopefully I can do extra writing sprints on the Friday in Australian time. If not, I'll see you next Sunday, roughly around about the same time. And if you need more writing sprints, I've put a link to Devon's channel so you can go visit all the different channels with writing sprints. All right. See you guys. Bye.